presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Last night, an explosion with the bats in Texas. A team record 22 runs. First time ever 14 extra base hits. And everybody, I mean everybody, got in on it. A 22-10 win, a 4-2 road trip, and home for a 4-gamer with the Reds. It's next on Fox Sports Florida. Let the weekend begin. I know it's a day early, but this is a 4-game weekend series. It starts on a Thursday night in Miami with the Reds and the Marlins meeting up again. They were just in Cincinnati, and the Fish took 2 of 3. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Marlins took 2 of 3 there, 2 of 3 in Texas. Now, the hard part, translating that back to home, because the Marlins did not play well their last homestand.
Yeah, they certainly did not, but after last night's offensive outburst, I've got to believe that some of that will carry over. I do believe in momentum. Not everybody does, but again, you know, you show up in tonight's ball game. They didn't take batting practice today, but everybody, just about everybody in the lineup had a multi-hit effort last night. Who's not feeling good about their swing tonight?
We were asked to pick our favorite Giancarlo Stanton home run from July. You can't just pick one, so here's all the home runs in July.
Well, pay attention quick, because there's an awful lot of them. You're going to have to watch fast. Boom, boom, boom. You know what? This is the progression. It's been so fun to watch. He's talked about this after last night's ball game, how much he's grown as a hitter this season, some of the adjustments that he's made, and you're seeing them in these swings. Every one of this swing has this isn't just see-ball reaction. This is a game plan being played out in front of you. So good to see Stanton have a huge July.
And the numbers add up. He's got a dozen home runs in this month and a few more days in July to go after the record. Pitching matchup, it's the same one that was in Cincinnati. 2 young guys trying to find their way in a starting rotation. Chris O'Grady against a Reds team that has had issues against lefties.
Well, he wasn't so bad as maybe that bottom line tells you right there. 89 pitches, but he did have the 6 walks. It was a really humid night in Cincinnati. It's not going to be that here tonight. So again, he knows about the control. He's got to be a little bit better. Stop the trend. With each of his 3 starts, he's pitched less innings each time. Robert
Stevenson, the young right-hander, showed a really good changeup. That was probably his best pitch. Marlins did some chasing in that game.
Well, they did. He's very vertical on the strike zone, has a good breaking ball to go along with that changeup and a fastball that he was throwing above their hands. Let's see if the Marlins can't make the adjustment. JT Realmuto had a huge day against him. 2 2-run home runs.
Marlins, the big night last night. Of course, Stanton put the icing on the cake with a emotional finish. We'll talk to Stanton about the home run in Texas when we return. Chris O'Grady on his way out, getting ready to face the Cincinnati Reds, and we start things in center field. Jessica Blaylock and Jeff Conine.
Hey, Rich, a really nice series in Texas for Giancarlo Stanton that included 6 hits, 5 RBIs, and 3 home runs. But there was a moment against the Rangers that he wasn't too pleased with in Niner. It came on Tuesday night with Jason Grilli on the mound.
Yeah, Tuesday night, 8th inning in a 10-4 game. You look at what Jason Grilli does as a nasty slider on the outside part of the plate. Look at him fist bump here like he just walked it off here in a playoff game or something like that. Well, payback is you know what the next night. Elevated fastball here. Look at Giancarlo's reaction about 470 feet later. He says, take that, Jason Grilli.
And Giancarlo Stanton doesn't always show a lot of emotion after a hit, so you knew something was going on. After the game last night, Stanton explained his reaction to the home run.
That was just for his reaction last night. So, you know, you have a reaction like that when in a game that doesn't matter, or that out is not the deciding factor of the game, then I'm going to do the same if I get you.
So you normally, as we know, you're very reserved. You hit your home.
Yeah, there's no point. I don't like to do that, but you do it to me for whatever reason multiple times, and that's what happens.
Hey, I like it. I like the reaction. I like seeing some fire from Giancarlo. He said he's making adjustments in a game-to-game basis now, and that's part of it. That's the emotion that's coming out in him, and I like to see it.
Lesson learned, do not make Giancarlo Stanton upset because he will make you pay. He now has 33 home runs on the season. That leads Major League Baseball in that category. When we return, it is first pitch in game 1 of a 4-game series between the Reds and the Marlins. Good to see Miguel Rojas back in the starting lineup.
Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By Supercuts, save time. Check in online with our mobile app or at supercuts.com. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Hot in South Florida. That's a fine place to be. One of these days we're going to call a game from a nice ocean view cabin. Cruise ship. Until then, here we are at Marlins Park. And here's Chris O'Grady getting ready to go after the Reds for the second time in less than a week. He had some success, though he wasn't around for the decision in that game. Southwest brings you the Reds. Billy Hamilton, Eugenio Suarez, Joey Votto, Did not have a great series against the Marlins, though has started to heat up on this road trip. Adam Duvall's in left. Scooter Gennett is at second base. Scott Schebler in right. Jose Peraza gets the start at shortstop. Zach Cozart still out with a quad injury. Tucker Barnhart is a really good catch and throw catcher. And Robert Stevenson, the young right-hander, gets his second start against the Fish and against O'Grady in the last week.
On the mound tonight for the Marlins, Chris O'Grady making his fourth start, second against the Cincinnati Reds. He's allowed 3 earned runs in all 3 starts. Problem is the starts have been getting shorter. 5 1/3 first time out, 5 innings the second time, 4 2/3 the last time versus the Cincinnati Reds. Now part of that was 6 walks, 89 pitches, 46 strikes. He's got to be better with that. This Reds team has been scuffling. In fact, they are last in the second half in batting average, .210. The Cincinnati Reds lineup really trying to find its way right now. So for O'Grady, look for him to be aggressive tonight early in the count. Here's the Marlins defense behind him. Marcell Ozuna in left field. Christian Yelich in center field. Giancarlo Stanton over in right. Dietrich, Rojas, Gordon, Tyler Moore at first base. JT Realmuto. There's O'Grady on the mound.
A lot of speed in this 4-game set. Billy Hamilton and Dee Gordon, 1 and 2 in the Major League stolen base race. And they're on display at Marlins Park. Hamilton in the leadoff spot. Gordon in the leadoff spot for the Fish. 43 stolen bases for Hamilton. Dee's got 36. Now, what did you learn from above in the Reds-Marlins series that we can expect to see with Brian Price and the Reds here for 4?
Well, they're going to be creative offensively, and you saw that on the Sunday game. Once they got a few guys on base, they were looking to be as aggressive as they possibly could be, take some extra base hits. They do have a few guys that are borderline getting warm. But again, Brian Price is not going to just sit back and continue to wait for this Reds lineup to go. Hamilton, last 2 games in that Marlins series, 5 for 9, 3 for 3 in stolen bases. Now 2 for 12 on the current road trip. Again, has a good thing going against the Marlins the last 2 games he played.
Hamilton a switch hitter, shortens the bunt, and O'Grady misses down low. And this ball game is underway. Hamilton, Suarez, and Votto in the air behind first. Tyler Moore giving chase, getting to the rail, reaching, and just couldn't hold it. He got a piece of it. Gordon, I think, in jest, getting on the fan. You could see from the smile. Now the fan did not reach onto the field of play.
No. He's being serious, not serious. That's what you do. Kind of giving him the business a little bit about getting out of the way, and then he just kind of says, "All right, I'm a kid with you. Call it a day. Let's move on." But he's telling him, "Get out of the way. If it happens again, move."
Well, the fan showed him he's a Reds fan. He's got a red shirt on, and his buddy had a Reds cap on.
Well, sure enough.
Yeah, you got Mr. Redlegs there on the.
Well, he didn't break any rules
on the jersey. Counts 1 and 2. Trying to come the back door and got it. My bad on the count. I had 1 and 2. So did the scoreboard in the ballpark. So did our scoreboard on the screen. 2-2 pitch. That one shot in the gap, right center field. Stanton is there, and Giancarlo makes the catch. Just to refresh your memory, when the Marlins landed in the Queen City, head-to-head, Fish took 2 of 3. Reds did not swing the bats well at all. The runs were pretty much dead even. Home runs, there were, I think, fewer than we thought there would be on a hot weekend in a small ballpark in the Natty.
Well, 3 games in Cincinnati, I take away the bullpen. The Marlins bullpen at the time was the better of the bullpens. That's really what it came down to. The starting pitching was marginal. Offense was okay. Home run power was less than expected, but the Marlins bullpen was really, really good.
Here is Suarez. And he hits one hard into left field for a base hit. Brings up Votto. What about pitchers? What about O'Grady and Stevenson? How do they make the adjustments? Because certainly hitters have the advantage. They've seen the pitcher. They're going to see him again within a week. What does that do to to these guys.
Well, you try to change up your sequencing just a little bit. I mean, you're not going to steer clear of what your game plan is or what your arsenal is. For Chris O'Grady, you're going to still see a heavy dose of cut fastballs. You're going to see a lot of changeups tonight. Maybe he incorporates a few more breaking pitches just to keep hitters honest, maybe at the front end of an at-bat.
Votto goes the other way. Ozuna backpedaling, turning now, makes the catch just shy of the track. It was a frustrating series for Votto in Cincinnati, but he has started to show signs of coming out of it on this road trip.
Had a productive day yesterday in New York, 2 for 2 with a couple of walks. That sounds more like Votto, doesn't it? Fly ball out to start tonight.
This Reds lineup has got a lot of home runs in it and a lot of power, and guys that over the last 2 or 3 years have emerged, guys like Duvall and Schebler, as power threats. And Duvall, a right-handed bat, has popped 21 this year. Look at the slugging percentage, .524. He's got 28 doubles to go with the 21 homers.
3-run home run in yesterday's ball game in New York, his 21st, as you see.
Suarez at first. And O'Grady misses out. And the count is 2-0. Duvall, a big power bat coming up in the Giants minor league system. And I thought of him today with about an hour before the game, Dustin McGowan meeting with his kids, not his kids, but the group that he hosts with type 1 diabetes. And it's a great organization. McGowan does terrific work with the kids and the families of the kids. And Duvall has been a guy that's had to battle that throughout his career as well. 3-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner. There's Dustin. The whole hallway was filled up. They had the blue shirts, McGowan's group. Got a 3-1 coming. And he lost him. Now, walks were an issue for O'Grady in that start against the Reds. He walked 6. He also struck out 6.
Well, as I mentioned, it was a very humid night. Had to make an adjustment, had to start using the rosin out there a little bit more than he was accustomed to. In fact, I believe it was brought to my attention that it was the first time he'd actually ever used rosin to pitch. That's how humid it was. Couldn't keep his arm dry. Will not be a problem tonight here at Marlins Park. Roof closed.
And of course, Jeanette in all the headlines for his 4-homer game, wearing the camo unis when he did it in Cincinnati. And so look at the healthy slugging percentage he's got, .587, 18 home runs. This is a guy that was released by the Milwaukee Brewers at the end of spring training, hopped over to the Reds in the same division, and he blasts one to right field. That's deep. Stanton is back at the wall. Got it. Right up against the scoreboard. Scooter Jeanette a few feet from giving Cincinnati a 3-0 lead. Stanton hauls it in. All is well. D. Gordon leads it off. It's Fish. It's Reds. You got Big G and Christian Yelich do as well. D. Gordon getting ready to launch. Marlins lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Gordon in the leadoff spot. Giancarlo Stanton slotted second. He leads Major League Baseball with 33 homers. How hot is Yelich? 7 for his last 9. 2 homers and 5 doubles account for those 7 hits. Marcell Ozuna is an RBI machine in July. JT Realmuto smoked 2 homers against Stevenson. Derek Dietrich, Tyler Moore, Miguel Rojas back in the lineup, and Chris O'Grady hits 9th.
Let's scout Robert Stevenson, 6'2", 200 pounds, 24 years old. Here's your Auto Nation scouting report. Hello again. That's right. Made his first start of 2017. Last time out against the Marlins. That's right. Well, he worked out of the bullpen in April and May. So, July 22nd in Cincinnati versus the Marlins. Didn't go so well. He got JT Realmuto'd. Right? Yeah, a couple home runs. There you go. 4 RBIs. So JT did a lot of damage against him. He had some moments where he looked really, really good, but did take the loss. Now, vertical approach. You're going to see that tonight. He's kind of been working on a slider, but loves the 12-6 curveball and the changeup along with his 4-seam fastball. Now, his fastball is very straight. 397 batting average against 808 slugging. So again, he is trying to kind of create a little more hot horizontal movement. That's what the Reds want. His secondary stuff again is the 12-6 curveball. Very effective pitch, and that changeup was good for him last time out.
He's gone 3-0 on Gordon. And D takes fastball for a strike. 6 straight Gordon has hit it, and in all 6 games he has a hit in the first inning. The Major League record is 10. And I don't know if a walk ends that. I know it doesn't walk a hitting streak, but not sure on this one. The good news is Gordon's at first, and here comes Stanton. Stanton coming off a really nice road trip, couple doubles, 3 homers. His total's up to 33. And he's done a lot of damage out of the 2 spot in the order.
Sure did. This last road trip, a lot of damage out of the 2 spot in Texas. 6 for 13, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. Oh yeah, by the way, had a double too.
Now Robert Stevenson, the 24-year-old out of Martinez, California, trying to keep D. Gordon anchored at first. Gordon runs, pitches down. Barnhart's throw is in time. I told you he's a good catch and throw. Tucker Barnhart has thrown out 43% of base stealers.
Yeah, he's quick like Realmuto quick. Getting rid of the baseball. That's a breaking ball. Don Mattingly and the Marlins are going to take another look at this.
Got him on that lower foot, and he looks out.
Yeah, just before his front foot hits second base. See the tag applied to the right heel. Now moving on, you're absolutely right. Quick behind home plate.
That can be a young pitcher's best friend in Barnhart. Stanton now with a count 2-0. Stevenson opened the season in the Reds bullpen. The Reds sent him down to Louisville, and they really wanted him to work on control, throw more strikes, especially in that home ballpark in Cincinnati where home runs happen a lot. And he did that. He got things under control, made 7 starts at Louisville, an ERA in the mid-3s. His breaking ball misses down low to Stanton.
Well, they sent him back out for the 6th inning his last time. Mentioned some fatigue. Did struggle just a little bit towards the end of his outing, but did have some moments to build off of. I think the Reds saw it almost the exact same way we said it. Definitely some positives there.
Misses outside. Stanton jettisons the bat, and the guard hits down to first. And here comes Yelich. Let's take a look at Cincinnati and their defense tonight.
Hamilton's in there. We know that for sure in center field. One of the best go-get guys in all the game. Duvall in left. As I said, Hamilton in center field. Schebler in right. Suarez, Peraza in at shortstop. Cozart said Leaves missed a couple games now. Jeanette, Votto, Barnhart behind the plate.
7 consecutive extra base hits, 4 shy of the club record. Look who holds the club record.
That's right. Take that.
11. Do you know you had that record, or
No,
was
not till
John Chimchuk, our baseball researcher?
A couple hours ago, I found out. Didn't know.
That had to come over the course of how many games, though? I mean, that's a.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, you know, Christian Yelich is 7 for 9. It's not 7 consecutive. It's the hits that are extra base hits. You know what I mean?
Right. For
So,
you, how many games did it
probably
take?
100 ABs. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was, what, 2-3 weeks?
Crack staff is doing what they do best. That voodoo that they do, they will come up with that number.
Probably
Yelich
in less than 20 seconds.
was stand at first. What a night last night for everybody, including Yelich. Stevenson misses down low. Yelich was 4 for 5, 3 doubles, a walk, a homer, and that was just part of a 22-hit, 22-run attack. It took you 14 games, apparently, to get 11 consecutive extra base hits. Well done. Outfield straight up, big gaps here. Yelich shoots that one to center field. Billy Hamilton is there and makes the catch. Hamilton at center, and you know the commercial, it's on MLB Network with Hamilton covering everything while Duvall and Schebler are in lounge chairs. That it will be for Brian Price important in this series because the Reds have a very good defensive outfield. They throw guys out, but they play in a tiny ballpark. And Duvall and Schebler don't have a lot of range. And so in this ballpark with huge gaps, Hamilton's speed is very important.
Oh. Teams that have done it best to my eyes, obviously the Marlins can do it a little bit more. They play here every day. Visiting teams really need to focus on those gaps. I see the Reds right now, they look pretty spread out. I mean, I get Billy Hamilton in that speed, but you better be careful on those gaps because that's where doubles get turned into triples.
That's where Ozuna went for a double last night. How about Ozuna? A couple doubles and a triple last night. Ozuna rifles one to left and diving catch there. Duvall sliding on the grass, robbing Ozuna of a hit and saving a run. And a nice play by the Reds left fielder. For both starting pitchers in the first. Into the second we go. And Scott Schebler, Jose Peraza, Tucker Barnhart, Coming up, Adam Duvall, really nice catch. I told you those Reds outfielders were good. And O'Grady gave up a walk and a hit in that first inning. Robert Stevenson walked 2. Nobody has scored. And a strike there. Why are the Reds struggling against left-handed starting pitching this year?
That's a good question. They are an aggressive team. They do strike out a little bit. Historically, they're struggling against lefties and righties right now. So to really target one or the other, well, you should say one more than the other, it's probably not the case. You add up 2 and 11 to start, since the All-Star break, last 13 ball games. It's not a lefty-righty thing.
Ball in the dirt. Schebler swings through it. Real Muto fires down to first. I mean, this is historic what the Reds are going through right now. They're 6-19. The 52 Pirates, I did not see any of their games. 63 Mets, you know how bad they were. And the 2003 Tigers, that was not a good season in Detroit.
6-19 is not very good. I mean, again, not going to sit here and just blame it on any one thing. And I don't think Brian Price would do that either. But when you look at what the Reds are going through right now, and you've heard me say, all right, well, they're hitting .210 as a team here post All-Star game. So blame the offense. Well, that's not entirely true, and you shouldn't just blame the offense.
Jose Peraza lines it into left field. He's got a base hit.
Team ERA post All-Star break 6.75. That's 29th. So certainly recognize the lefty-righty splits, but again, I don't know if that's something that you make more out of it than you need to, because this Reds team's struggling really in all areas right now.
On Fox Tracks, watch where this pitch ends up. And Peraza, who's in there for the injured Zach Cozart, has himself a 1-out hit. Barnhart, Grady goes over to first. We saw Cozart, who was limping noticeably in that series in Cincinnati, but he was still hitting, and he actually legged out a triple, and he legged out a triple in New York as well.
Right. Well, didn't play yesterday. Obviously not in there today, at least for now. Still nursing that injured quad.
All-star starter for the National League and having a breakout season. And of course, the interesting thing about Cozart is he's a free agent next year. Strike there. It's a Tucker Barnhart who gets the start at catcher throughout D. Gordon. Outstanding throw. And you were right. Very Real Muto-like. These are two athletic and quick catchers. Peraza can run. Chopper, this could be a tough play. Rojas knows that he only has the play at first. You could see him kind of turn his body so he had Peraza in his view, and then just decided to go to first base.
Well, and it was the right decision. And what a good shortstop does is he presets everything as that ball's coming down in the air and gets himself in position to make the throw. This is where he'll start to accelerate. So watch this. See, one quick hand, glove to hand, ball out at first base. Pretty simple. Got everything in a very nice line over to first.
Now Stevenson, who has a major league hit, he's 1 for 5 this season, could help himself out. Peraza's out at second. End of the bat. O'Grady captures it and gets the out at first. Reds leave a 9-pitch inning for O'Grady, and a scoreless start in Miami.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Scoreless start in Miami, bottom second. On a Hall of Fame weekend in baseball, a Hall of Fame wrestler is coming to Miami. Tomorrow night, 16-time champion Ric Flair will be here on wrestling night. And if you purchase a special event ticket, you'll get a pre-signed autograph photo from the Nature Boy. Limited VIP tickets are also available for purchase by phone. It includes a meet and greet with Ric Flair an hour prior to first pitch. Get your tickets at marlins.com/special events. So big night for the wrestling fans tomorrow night. JT Realmuto, Derek Dietrich, and Tyler Moore. Robert Stevenson into his second inning, walked a couple back in the first. And a breaking ball to Realmuto, and expect Stevenson to approach Realmuto very carefully after what happened last week.
Not surprised to see the first pitch breaking ball, Rich. A little bit of a chuckle there just because JT was all over the fastball.
96. That's the fastball that caught the eye of the Red Scouts when he was a senior in high school. He had committed to play at the University of Washington, had a great GPA of 4.2. So Washington was a good place for him, but the Reds took him in the first round, 27th overall. And he became the first athlete from that high school, which has been around a long time, to get to the big leagues. Some guys have been able to get to the high minors, but Stevenson, the first guy to get to Major League Baseball from Alhambra High School. Here's a 3-0 pitch. And he misses. He walks Realmuto on 4. And so the line score doesn't look pretty right now, even though Miami doesn't have a run. Stevenson has walked 3 of the first 5 he's faced. Here is Derek Dietrich. If there's a carryover from last night, the Marlins are hopeful that it's on the at-bats here of Derek Dietrich. Scuffling going into last night. Dietrich got a breakthrough hit in the 4th and ended up driving in 5 runs. That's a career high for Dietrich. Knee-high strike from Stevenson.
Yeah, it all started with a 2-strike base hit against Yu Darvish. Shortened up, kept his front foot down, stayed on his backside, and almost just that, I think like Chase Utley, that little box swing where his hands kind of stopped past the point of contact real quick, up the middle, and it was a big base hit for him.
Realmuto back. Stevenson trying to control the running game. Barnhart, of course, threw out D. Gordon back in the first inning. That's a letter high strike. And the count 0-2. Tyler Moore follows. Moore at first base. The Justin Bour injury is a significant one. The Marlins may not have their big first baseman back for a month. The changeup has really good downward action. It was a great pitch for Stevenson in his start against Miami.
You see, that's a split grip that he throws there in the downward action. He's hoping to get a swing and miss from Dietrich. Pretty good example of what Stevenson's trying to do. He's a very vertical pitcher, up and down in the strike zone. If you've noticed, the last 3 pitches are all about that same lane.
Dietrich rolls one out to second. Out there, Peraza's turn, not in time. Dietrich beats the throw. And that brings up Tyler Moore. Lots of things happened in baseball today. Most of them when the Washington Nationals were at the plate. My goodness. They hit 5 home runs in the 3rd inning, including 4 in a row. 15-2, they beat the Brewers at Nationals Park. 8 home runs in the game.
I tell you what happened to me this morning. Our good friend Bob Carpenter was he was in my psyche. I kept hearing "see you later," and I heard it about 4 consecutive times, and I thought my sons had left something on upstairs. Now they had woken up this morning, and I believe they had some dentist appointments, so they had made their way out of the house. I was just kind of getting things going. Obviously, it was a little later in the morning. We arrived quite early this morning from Dallas, and I just kept hearing it over and over again like it was on a loop. And I realized it was live, and that the Nationals were just busy going back to back to back to back. What, 8 home runs in that ball game?
8 home runs, 4 in a row, 5 in an inning, and a 15-2 win.
My goodness.
Bryce Harper hit a couple. Somewhere, though, there's a Nationals fan that has that as his ringtone or her ringtone on the cell phone, right? Someone's calling and it's "see you later" again and again.
Right.
Bob Carpenter, great broadcaster, great friend, and probably icing his tonsils right now.
Exactly. I thought the same thing. Well, he was busy today.
Robert Stevenson has the count go back to 2-2 against Moore. So Tyler Moore is going to see a lot of playing time, the former National, in the next month as Justin Bour tries to get back from what was a significant oblique injury. The last week has been really hard on the Marlins health-wise. Kyle Bearclaw, key part of the bullpen on the DL. Bour on the DL. Martin Prado's knee is not responding, and that's a serious concern. This week alone, Bour, Riddle, Bearclaw, of course the trade of Phelps to Seattle. Now the good news is that Brad Ziegler is pitching tonight. Moore to center. Hamilton's got plenty of room. And he makes the catch. Let's do a little T-Mobile, shall we? There you go. 4 consecutive homers in the 5th inning. Franchise record 8 homers. And they beat the Brewers. That's a tough loss for the Brewers because the Cubs have finally caught him. Trevor Bauer beats the Angels. Steve Pearce had the walk-off grand slam as the Blue Jays in extra innings finished the comeback with a walk-off slam. One bit of good news surrounding an injury is that this guy is back in. Rojas hurt that left shoulder diving for a ball in Cincinnati. It was not a severe enough injury to place him on the disabled list. Marlins essentially played without him for a few games. Rojas in the starting lineup here. Mike Aviles came up. Aviles has played well. In fact, he was part of the offense last night with 2 hits. Fastball up. Here's a look at what happened.
See that left shoulder, as we described at the time, kind of didn't really slide across the infield dirt. See how he sticks right there almost on that cut of grass. Obviously hit very, very hard.
Stevenson bounces one up there.
Marlins have done a very nice job being patient. You see right there, 18 balls, 12 strikes. But he's been forced to make a pitch. So far, the contact has favored Stevenson. Other than Marcell Ozuna, it's been some weak ground balls and some pop-ups.
Fastball's up. Now the thing that Stevenson has going for him is he's got Chris O'Grady coming up. Puts runners at first and second. Now this does flip the lineup over, and if O'Grady makes an out, it would allow D. Gordon to lead it off in the third.
4 walks first time through the lineup for Stevenson. No damage yet.
And of course, that was the concern of Brian Price and the Reds organization when they sent him back down to AAA and said, clean up the walks. He did it, but he is right now having some control issues, and he misses on his first pitch to Chris O'Grady.
Well, this will be a good test against O'Grady. I have to admit, I believe some of it's strategic. He's going up against the Marlins now a second time. They did just score 22 runs last night on 14 extra base hits. If you're going to be a little bit closer to the outer reaches of the strike zone, tonight might be that night. I mean, let's be honest. Couple base hits last night in the game that were, you know, maybe by definition, all right, that one fell in. But most of them were ringing hard off the, you know, exit velocity kind of stuff that we love to talk about. That kind of base hits.
Last night's game had a little bit of everything. I mean, not only was it a blowout, you had the Adrian Beltre on deck circle issue,
Right.
which quite honestly started in the first inning when Beltre was standing. See where that light Cerveza sign is? To the left of the ballpark sign. That's essentially where he was standing with a left-handed hitter at the plate. Nobody said anything early in the game, but of course later in the game, when asked to move by Jerry Davis, he picked up that on-deck circle and brought it with him. Here's a look. Now, you can see both sides of the issue here. The crowd wasn't happy. As you pointed out, he's chasing 3,000 and he's within 4 hits of it. They wanted to see him get another hit.
Right.
Jerry Davis didn't look like he was trying to show him up. And Beltre, who's, as you pointed out, has a very unique and fun sense of humor.
Right. And he crossed the line right there. And I think, you know, and that's really what happens.
He didn't
when
go,
you do that.
He didn't go all George Brett, you know.
Right.
I think he knew that was going to, something was going to happen in that case. All right, that's a fastball. O'Grady takes it. The Miami Brewing Company is open for business. Are you thirsty? This night in Texas, a record-setting night for the Marlins. 22 runs, that's a record. 14 extra base hits, that's a record. And of course, Stanton's payback homer against Jason Grilli. And then the Marlins facing Brett Nicholas, a reserve catcher for the Rangers. In our Toyota Inside Look, there you go. Every starter had an RBI and a hit, only second time in franchise history. Toyota inside look. And we were able to get Todd Hollinsworth feet wet for the 10-run reel late in the ball game. So everybody had some fun last night.
That's right.
Everybody Wang Chung'd last night.
I know the rules. I know how to participate. I know my role. I know my place.
Billy Hamilton takes a fastball in. Yeah, we haven't even talked about Brett Nicholas pitching and the fact that the Marlins were facing a top-end fastball of a right. I think mid-60s is where he topped out. And his off-speed stuff was living in the high 40s.
Ichiro.
Yeah, Ichiro was on a long line of guys from Stanton to Yelich to Ozuna to Real Muto.
But you remember there in that last inning, you know, how he backed up to hit that ball with 2 strikes. Let's take a look at it. Here it is. So we talked about this. We talked about ego being involved and not wanting to make it out against a fellow position player. He's laughing it up for now, but definitely want to get it something done.
Hey, batting practice pitchers get fired with this velocity.
His footwork was fantastic. He steps back to hit that. Yes, fans, he stepped back. He didn't take his front foot and step forward. He actually stepped backwards to allow the ball to come into the strike zone a little bit more and lined it to left. Is that what you do in softball?
I don't think Ichiro's ever played softball, but yeah.
Probably right.
Oh, nice. Looked like a four-seamer at 86.
That's what he does.
Stayed straight, stayed on the outside part. Second strikeout for O'Grady.
Actual two-seam fastball right there. Didn't move too much, but again, very effective. Well placed. Going away. Hamilton looking for something to pull.
Here's Suarez, who singled back in the first. And you got Votto on deck. Hitting a guy like that, as you could see Ichiro's first 2 swings, he was behind the count 0-2 right away. But impressed by everybody's approach. Nobody went up there trying to pull. Yelich, Ozuna, Real Muto all found the opposite way. Dietrich had a sacrifice fly. Pitch misses down low. And the Marlins really knocked Yu Darvish around too. That's coming out of that game as one of the stories nationally. Rojas on to first, especially with Darvish's name being bandied about as a target for teams like the Dodgers and such.
His ERA up over 4 after yesterday's efforts. Yu Darvish, 9 earned runs in the ballgame. Marlins were just all over everything out of his hand. He went to the breaking ball approach, started using breaking balls. Next thing you know, Marcell Ozuna's lining one, Ichiro lines one, and back to the fastball again, and it didn't change.
Votto swings and misses. Joey Votto, 5th All-Star appearance here in Miami. But a struggle since the All-Star break. He's now 7 for 42.
Joey Votto, the highest OPS in Cincinnati Reds history, 963. No surprise there. Frank Robinson, 2nd at 943. Third would get most people. If I told you Adam Dunn is 3rd in Reds history in OPS, would that surprise you?
Yes and no. I mean, he was one of those guys that when he first arrived on the scene, high strikeout, high home run, and also took his walks, and so that feeds into the OPS formula.
Joe Morgan in 4th at 885.
Pitch misses up. You just wonder of guys, you mentioned Frank Robinson, those hitters, you know, you always heard some hitters, was it Henry Aaron that said if I knew stealing 40 bases was a big deal, I would have done it more often. In that day and age, as Votto walks here, there wasn't a value placed on the walks and driving runs in. That was more of a badge of honor. Votto, of course, more of a modern day guy. That at bat's a pretty good example of it. Patient, doesn't chase. And what you're looking for, I guess, if you're a general manager, is you're looking for a guy that hits home runs and does take his walks, and you don't pay as much attention to the batting average anymore. And of course, the home runs feed the slugging percentage. And if you take your walks, that helps your on base percentage.
And the question I have, and I think, well, I'm not sure it will get answered this year. Maybe we'll see who wins the World Series and how it'll play out. Because you do have a few more teams that are kind of really centered around everything you just said. Like we just played the Rangers. Marlins just played the Rangers, and it felt like almost their entire lineup was that way. Can you win that way? Can you win with an entire lineup that may have 5 walks, a home run, 6 strikeouts over a 5-game stretch, and still call that productive enough to win in the postseason? And I think it's an interesting conversation because the game has changed. It's, you know, players are seeking that out a little bit more, and it's being paid for, so the players get that as well. They're not, I mean, they're keen to what, you know, how this is all working. But can you win with a team that has more players in that mold than, say, well, somebody who likes to swing the bat just a little bit more?
Well, look, we're not that far removed from the Kansas City Royals,
right,
who won the World Series not only with speed but with a theory of put the ball in play.
Right.
Put the ball in play. That one is deep down the line and foul. Now Adam Duvall showing off the power that he's got with 2 outs here. O'Grady trying to keep the ball in the ballpark. Reds had a couple runners in the first, didn't score. A base runner in the second, nothing. Another runner here in the third. And the Marlins in their 2 innings drew 2 walks in the first, nothing. Drew 2 walks in the second, nothing. Votto runs, and Duvall pops it up back behind second. Gordon and Rojas meet. Gordon takes it, flips it to Rojas, and Chris O'Grady's got 3 scoreless innings to start this ball game. 3 in Miami. This opens a 4-game weekend series. Reds and Marlins. Alan Porter and D. Gordon sharing a light moment. The skies around Miami. Of course, that's the view from inside Marlins Park through the rolling windows. Gordon goes after a fastball and fouls it back. D walked in the first and then was thrown out by a whisker. Tucker Barnhart threw a shot down to second. Robert Stevenson has walked 4. Has not given up a hit and has 1 strikeout. Nine hits on the road trip for Gordon. There are records for everything, but I guess sometimes I'm not aware of the rules for records. Like we were talking about with D. Gordon, he had led off with 6 hits in his last 6 games, but he walked in the first inning here. Does that break the streak? Over? That's a little tapper. It's a foul ball. So yeah, I lobbed that opinion out, and half the folks in the truck say yes,
and half say no. That's right. I've got a lot of things going on in my head right now. I don't know where to stand on this. I'm not really sure the answer. I don't think it does. I wouldn't think it would.
It does not snap, say, a hitting streak if you walk 4 times.
Right.
Now a sacrifice fly does snap a hitting streak.
Sacrifice fly lowers your on base percentage. That ain't right.
You're now a member of the OPS club.
Oh,
I get a sense.
Well, you knew I was a charter member of that conversation.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Stanton's on deck. Yelich behind him. And Gordon fouls it back. So it's 2-2. The result for Stevenson with the 4 walks. Pitch count at 43. And right now he's shutting out Miami.
Yeah, with each walk, he's followed it up with an out. So the walks haven't really built on anything. Led off the ball game with a walk, was thrown out. Where Giancarlo Stanton walked. Yelich flew out. Real Muto walked. Dietrich ground ball to the right side.
Two. Gordon's roller finds the glove of Jeanette. No chance to get D. Gordon. And he's got a hit. Miami's first of the night. Before Stanton digs in here is Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Rich, what a season for Giancarlo Stanton. And for Big G, he says that it's been a year of making adjustments.
I'm learning. This is the most I've learned in a season by far. Finding myself, changing a lot of things up, being able to adjust pitch to pitch rather than game to get, first it's game adjustments, then it's each at bat, now it's pitch to pitch, so, you keep learning.
And guys, we know Giancarlo Stanton not big on personal accomplishments, but he says he takes a lot of pride in leading Major League Baseball with those 33 home runs.
All right, Jess, thank you. He walked his first time up. Stevenson throws a perfect pitch there on the outside part. Stanton fans rising in anticipation in left field.
Pursuit of number 34.
Well, if you were in Arlington last night and you wanted a piece of number 33, you had to be sitting 468 feet from the home plate. That's where that blast off of Jason Grilli went. A couple fastballs and it's 0-2.
Pretty amazing. It's shocking I guess what I felt when he hit that ball at the point in the ball game where runs had been scoring and guys had been touching home plate over and over again all night long. That when Stanton hit that home run again, the silent wave just kind of overtakes the ballpark.
Gordon runs, Stanton swings, high fly ball. Hamilton going back is there, and he makes the catch. Gordon has to retreat to first. One out here in the third. You can't catch the games on television. You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball with you wherever you go. Here's Yelich now. Fly ball out back in the first. Gordon back with a dive. Stevenson does not have a quick. And Gordon right now is still down. I think that's a cup issue. Sometimes when you land in the wrong spot, your protective cup becomes your enemy, from friend to enemy in one dive. Yeah. Although he's not wearing, remember our good friend John Buck helped pioneer a protective cup called the Nutty Buddy. I loved it. And when we were in Cincinnati, speaking of this, while we're on this, I saw
what are we on?
Up on the scoreboard, they had a big thing on all of the accomplishments for Johnny Bench, the Gold Gloves and World Championships, and I think they also said he broke 8 cups in his career. 8 protective cups.
Badge of honor.
Fastball misses into Yelich.
Well, there's all sorts of stories that go along with D getting back. It's good to see he's back safe and in the ball game.
Yelich, a fly ball out to center. Last 2 games for Yelich just filled with doubles and homers. He shoots that one to left. Duvall is over and there, and he makes the catch. 2 outs, and here comes Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna nearly gave Miami a 1-0 lead. He had a screaming liner to deep left, and Adam Duvall, a few steps to his right, made a lunging, diving catch to end the inning. Stanton was on first with 2 outs. Stevenson goes breaking ball, and he gets a strike.
Trusting that slider a little bit more tonight. We saw in the Cincinnati start. Marlins can't square one of these fastballs up. 7 of the 9 home runs he's given up this year have come on the fastball. He's given up 5 fly ball outs so far in tonight's ball game.
That was apparently a softer landing.
Much more graceful.
Does not have a big lead. Reds thought he was running. It's a ball and a strike. Barnhart has thrown out an amazing 22 of 38, which is approaching 50%. He's at around 45%. Breaking ball out.
Take from Ozuna. chasing that slider off the plate a few times throughout the road trip. Very good on the curveball this year. More trouble with the slider. Makes sense. Righty on righty.
Gordon has a good jump. He's running. Barnhart tried to hurry himself. I don't know that he gets scored on this pass either, because he was flying.
Gets a good jump. This is a changeup down. Barnhart all the way down to the dirt. Has to come down, pick it clean, and get right back up. His arm slot, able to pick it clean. Steve Gordon, good jump. And the stolen base.
So let it be said, in this 4-game battle between the speedsters of Major League Baseball, that Gordon has the first stolen base. And so he inches a little closer to red center fielder Billy Hamilton. Stevenson comes in, and Ozuna avoids that. And he's on his way to first base. Brings up Real Muto. Well, remember, Real Muto had that big ball game against Stevenson, couple home runs, and that has continued what has been a brilliant July for JT. Though he did not make the All-Star team, he continues to rock a .371 average in July. And we've always tracked the OPS for catchers in baseball. He is still second. Only Buster Posey is better, and he's gaining on Posey. Sal Perez is third. Here's your OPS. That's pretty good company.
Impressive month of July. That batting average, real nice approach. Has been taking his walks, not expanded his strike zone, has really honed in on his strike zone.
And you can see that, you know, the scouting report on Robert Stevenson, outstanding stuff. Got to get the control dialed in, and control has been an issue here. He's walked 5, but his stuff is good enough that Miami does not have a run.
Well, he hasn't been made to pay for his lack of command, other than the fact his pitch count's going up. He's at 58. It's not terrible, but still 5 walks at this point in the ball game. You'd think the Marlins would have scored a few runs by now, and he's been able to make some pitches.
Gordon at second, Ozuna at first. This was the Saturday showdown between Stevenson and Real Muto.
Well, recognize the strike zone. See that right there just below the letters? That's an elevated fastball. You see it on the scoreboard, 92 miles an hour. Now down. This is a double. Rocket into the gap. This is a fastball as well, but out over the plate. I've seen it many, many times, and this is thigh high. So 3 fastballs, 3 different spots, 3 different results. Well, maybe different types of swing. The exit velocity all the same, as I've said time before. JT Realmuto is on his game, and he is not missing his pitch right now. That's how you hit 371 in the month of July.
2-2. And it's fouled back. I think both dugouts are probably muttering to themselves right now. Opportunities for the Reds, opportunities for the Marlins. There may be a yawn or two from the Fish after
long road trip.
A long road trip, a long game last night in a hot ballpark, and a what was the touchdown? 4:45 this morning. The plane landed.
Sounds about right.
So everybody probably got to bed 6:30ish. 2-2. Real Muto sends it to center. Hamilton is waiting, and he makes the catch. And Robert Stevenson makes the pitch when he needs it. This ball game is still scoreless. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida. It's brought to you by Jeep. By Hankook Tires. Chase down your passion. Never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Marlins Park tonight. The weekend starting early. I know it's Thursday, but it's a 4-gamer. It stretches through Sunday. Tomorrow night is wrestling night. D. Gordon bobbleheads on Saturday night. And a Sunday game to finish before the Nationals come in. And if you like home runs, they only hit 5 in an inning and 8 in a game today to beat Milwaukee. Here's your weekend. Wrestling, bobblehead from D, and the All-Star poster giveaway on Sunday. Very cool poster. We have a, there it is, a shot of it.
Very nice.
I like the shot of Justin Bourne, the home run hitting contest. Back to work for Chris O'Grady. Scooter Gennett, Scott Schebler, Jose Peraza. Gennett bangs one on the ground. Gordon gets the out. Gennett hit a ball that could have given the Reds a 3-0 lead. In fact, had he hit that ball in Cincinnati, not only would it have been 3-0 Reds, that ball would have been 10-15 rows up in that right field.
Oh, he hit that ball.
Bleachers.
Right, we were talking about it. He hit that ball in the Cincinnati series, obviously Cincinnati Marlins series in Cincinnati. It was in the front row. I think it was Sunday. Hit the exact ball. It landed, 1 row deep, 2 rows deep, and around the bases he ran. Career high 18 homers, 58 RBIs for Gennett. So solid season. You see why he's getting a bulk of playing time.
Schebler. You got Peraza after that.
Schebler 3 for 39. No homers, no RBIs here in the second half. You say, well, why would he be in there against a lefty, Grady? Well, one of the few guys in the lineup that's actually got real good numbers against lefties. He might be their best left-handed hitter against lefties.
Schebler pops it up. 4 infielders converge. O'Grady exits the mound. And it's Dietrich who makes the catch. Good work there. And D. Gordon actually peeled off and got back to second.
It's a little bit like synchronized swimming right there.
Beer Fest is back. Everybody, can I get a hallelujah? Saturday is the Marlins take on the Reds. Join us to sample more than 20 different types of domestic and international brews. Tickets start at just $35. Purchase your Beer Fest tickets at marlins.com/beerfest. There's not been a 1-2-3 inning in this ball game. Peraza singled in the second. And he takes a strike. Jose Peraza, the 23-year-old Venezuelan, was a key piece in that 3-way with the Reds and the White Sox. Todd Frazier going from Cincinnati to the White Sox. He originally was in a 3-way deal with the Marlins and the Braves when the Marlins were dumping the salary of Matt Latos and Michael Morse after neither of those veterans panned out. O'Grady thought he had a strike. And the count full 3-2. You can see he missed. Did O'Grady. Peraza lines it to center. And that nestles in for a hit, and he has 2 of the 3 hits for the Reds now. That'll bring up Barnhart, Cincinnati's catcher. Jessica Blaylock back at it tomorrow night. She and Jeff Conine very good tonight on Marlins Live. It's brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Sit down with Don Mattingly. I don't know that O'Grady's going to go back-to-back nights. I believe the Marlins are going with Vance Worley.
Oh, is that okay?
Yes.
Well, it's been a couple injuries, you know.
See, Chris, we need you to pitch tomorrow as well. We'll talk about it on Marlins Live.
We'll see how you feel. Well, the Marlins getting everything they hoped for from Chris O'Grady tonight. We talked about the early arrival, bullpen usage throughout the road trip, some of the injuries and the trending had Chris O'Grady going shorter and shorter his 3 starts. So good stuff from him tonight. He's been able to really use that changeup well and effectively against the Cincinnati Reds.
And as we noted at the outset of the telecast, what makes it even more impressive is the Reds just saw him in his last start.
Well, in the last start, he actually threw a lot more fastballs because his command was not ideal. 4-seamers and cutters. Now, he didn't really use the changeup nearly as much because he didn't get in position to use it. Tonight, you've seen it. It's the 1 and 2 strikes. He's willing to go down there, and you've seen even on the Peraza base hit right there, out on his front foot, just kept his hands back and was able to find some grass out in center field. But you know, most of these Cincinnati Reds have not come up with the solid contact yet.
Peraza at first, 2 outs. Liner to left and a base hit. So 2 2-out hits here by the Reds, but O'Grady gets to face Robert Stevenson, Cincinnati's pitcher. Stevenson bounced out back in the second. I told you he's the first guy from Alhambra High School, Martinez, to get to the big leagues. But that city does have some major league
talent from it, including that high school. Start with Rich Waltz. What do you think? Come on, man.
Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, Rich Waltz.
Born in Martinez.
Rich
and
Waltz.
You'll be happy to know the martini was invented in Martinez.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
My producer John Solser.
He's in my ear too, you know.
He's not in agreement there.
That's right. Are you telling me the truth? You know I believe you.
All right, use the
this thing. I don't know how to use this thing.
Use the power of the search engine on your device
Google?
there. Your mobile device, pal. And a strike.
I should just use the crack staff.
We missed the crack staff on that last road trip.
We did.
And it's Stevenson up the middle. Rojas flips. Whoa! Just in time to get the out. That was a wild force. The slide by Rojas. Gordon arrived just in time. And O'Grady escapes and robs Stevenson of a hit.
Rhythm is beautiful. There it is.
Look into the eyes of evil there, Mr. Red. Tomorrow, it's the Fish, and it's the Reds. And it's not in Cincinnati, where the Marlins started that last road trip. It's here at Marlins Park. Wrestling night tomorrow night. Hello. By the way, we have a retraction from our production truck. The martini was indeed invented in Martinez, California.
Heartfelt apology came with it.
Thank you. Well, this has been an interesting ball game because you've got two very good offenses here, two teams that can swing it. The Marlins are a hotter team, certainly, than the Reds right now after 22 runs last night. And they've got a young pitcher who has struggled a bit with control, but has been able to get himself out of trouble for 3 innings.
Well, the two biggest opportunities for both teams has come with the opposing pitcher in the box with a chance to do something. O'Grady struck out back in the second. Stevenson here in the fourth hit the ball hard. Great play up the middle by Rojas. Timely flip to D. Gordon. So big spot there. Able to this game knotted at 0.
Dietrich bounced into a fielder's choice in the second. You got Tyler Moore, then you got Miguel Rojas.
You get to the 5 walks. One thing Stevenson has done well once he's got into the stretch, he's picked up an out right after that walk.
Derek Dietrich, right center field deep. Billy Hamilton in pursuit at the track. Gone! And last night has propelled Derek Dietrich.
Well, his timing is back. That's what you want to see. Started last night, the 2-strike fastball, 94 miles an hour that he hit back up through the middle. This a fastball. We talked about it. 8 of the 10 home runs Stevenson's given up this year have been on his fastball. This one elevated. Real nice swing. Good balance and on time. Good to see.
Plenty of altitude on that. More swings and misses. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Quicken Loans will bring you rocket arms with an actual rocket on it. Reds have given up 173 long balls. That's what happens when you have a raft of rookie pitchers in your rotation. I believe the Reds have started 8 rookies out of 13 guys that have started games this year. And obviously you pitch in Cincinnati, which is conducive to home runs.
And some unpredictability out of the bullpen. A lot of safe landing spots. We have a few guys having some nice seasons. Iglesias has won at the end of the Reds bullpen.
So a run on the board. Rojas walked back in the second.
Doing a very nice job of getting on base since returning from the disabled list. Has reached in all 6 games he's been in.
Rojas bounces it up the middle under the glove of Peraza. And that works out perfectly because you've got the pitcher O'Grady coming up and he can try to bunt him up.
Finds the hole back through the middle. Set up O'Grady. An opportunity to have a productive at bat. Strikeout victim his first time. Still working on that swing path.
Now, look, being a self-evaluator and being a good one, I think is important in life in whatever endeavor you take. And when we asked him about his hitting ability, he said, I'm a terrible hitter. I didn't have many hits even before professional baseball. We never got to the bunting part of it, but that's a pretty good indication that he can bunt.
Well, hopefully his confidence is rising after that successful sacrifice. Not been able to do too much with his at bat so far this year, so a productive out is a victory right now. Gordon can turn this into a run or extend this inning. Walking an infield single.
Gordon lashes that one in the gap, left center. Duvall is there, and he runs it down and makes the catch. Well, sort of. Catch was complete. Out is recorded. But Derek Dietrich has given Miami a 1-0 lead. Leads. Two young starters here, and both have unique changeups.
Yeah, they definitely do. The more traditional changeup is that circle change. Again, it's about taking rotation off the baseball. And you see with Stevenson, he throws that split grip. Kind of gets around the outside seams right there. I'm showing you a good version of it right there. So when this ball comes out, you mentioned it, and I think this is why you say it. You see it's got good downward action. Well, when it comes out of his hand, it spins in the rotation. It's not like a four-seam fastball that's spinning, and we're talking RPMs or even with a circle change, as we would as well. When you've got the split grip, you see it over there on the right-hand side. See how it's rolling? Well, it's got some spin, but not an awful lot. But look at the downward action. When you look on the left side over there, that's got a little bit more ride into the strike zone. It's lacking velocity, and that's the circle changeup on the left side. But again, both guys do a very nice job tonight of taking the spin off the baseball.
So someone at home watching that split, that one in the air off the bat of Hamilton, Yelich to retrieve it on the warning track, makes the catch. We hear split finger used for fastballs, right? Split finger fastballs. What's the biggest, aside from velocity, the biggest difference between the split fingered fastball, split fingered change with the two that these guys throw?
It's as simple. I mean, if you're going to put even a two-seam fastball where you're going to grip it, like, then there's variations to it. I mean, again, you're typically going to get sinking action with it, but it's not about spin rate, and that's the biggest difference, because when you take spin off the baseball, that's when you get the ball that sinks. That's the ball that you want to see working its way down. When you start talking four-seam fastballs and RPMs, number of times it's spinning on its way up there. And here's the other thing. Stevenson actually does this pretty well. His four-seamer rides into the top of the strike zone. He likes to use it as a very effective pitch. But the counter to that is the split change. And that's the one that has the tumbling action. You'll watch. It kind of leaves his hand, looks like it's coming in at the knees, and it'll end up below the knees, sometimes even in the dirt.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Eugenio Suarez fouls it off. I'm always fascinated by pitchers and their stories coming up through the minor leagues or even in college and then into the minor leagues about how they learned their grip on their slider from a guy in Double-A or a buddy or a college pitching coach, or they had a side session with a big leaguer when they were in the minors and they asked somebody, hey, how do you throw your changeup? How do you grip it?
Well, for me as a hitter, and again, I faced way more righties than I ever did lefties. For me, the circle change was way tougher for me to handle because, again, it had some action that kind of, you know, from a right-hander, it worked away off the plate, and there wasn't. I guess I wanted to swing at it. I wanted to get after it more. I always saw it as a fastball. When I saw guys who threw the split finger, and if you're watching real closely and you're locked in, you see that it doesn't have the same tumbling action or the ride, so you almost see the fact that it's not spinning or rotating as much, and you anticipate the downward action into the zone. So I was a good high ball hitter. That was an easier pitch for me to lay off. The circle change was a very difficult pitch for me to lay off. Guys who threw good ones, they throw them at my knees, and I thought that it was going to stay there. I'd get out there and think I was getting ready to hit the ball to the moon and break my elbow because the ball wasn't there yet, and it was making its way down into the bottom of the strike zone.
Joey Votto with 2 outs and a 2-1 count. Pulls the trigger and pulls it foul. Votto's walked and lined out. Got him and hit him. You could hear the double click, even though the ball ended up in the glove of JT Realmuto.
Just a little bit. That's all it takes. A 2-strike approach by Votto. He crowds the plate and chokes up an awful lot.
Brings up Adam Duvall. We'll keep our eyes peeled for any trade news tonight. The Mets and the Rays pulled one off this afternoon. Lucas Duda going from the Mets to the Rays. Jess, you've got more on that?
Yeah, that's right. The Mets making that move official today. They have sent first baseman Lucas Duda to the Rays in exchange for right-handed pitcher Drew Smith. So Duda on his way to Tampa Bay to help the Rays in their playoff push.
All right, ball in the corner. Votto racing for third. Ozuna picks it up. Billy Hatcher's going to send him. Here comes Votto. Here's the throw. It's waiting on him. And he is out at the plate. Miguel Rojas with a brilliant one-hop strike. Ozuna hit the cutoff man, and Miami guns down Joey Votto.
7-6-2. Great throw by everybody.
And Miami hangs on to a 1-0 lead. Start that play at the plate. Giancarlo Stanton will lead it off for Miami. And halfway through, it's a 1-0 lead for the Fish. Stanton has walked and flied out. Robert Stevenson, 24-year-old right-hander for the Reds, still in there. 71 pitches in. And he gets Stanton to cut and a breaking ball for strike one. Quickly, it's 0-2. Stanton now the home run leader in Major League Baseball. Remember, he and Joey Votto were tied at 26.
It was a long time ago.
I think it was right, what, All-Star break?
It wasn't that long ago. Stanton stayed hot, and Votto's kind of gone in the other direction. He's kind of working himself out of his second half struggles right now. Carlo has not.
Stevenson's 1-2 pitch misses out.
I guess when you have 7 multi-homer games, the number starts to grow rapidly.
Count 2-2. Of course, Aaron Judge at 32. Yankees and Rays are going at it. That's top 5 in New York. Judge is 0 for 2 in that ball game. And of course, the Rays already have Logan Morrison at first base. We were talking about the trade with Lucas Duda coming down, but they've also got the designated hitter. So Lomo and Duda, you can add those bats at the same time. One of them play first, one of them DH. Pitch is out. Stanton walks. All right, break down that play from the outfield, starting with Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. This is a huge play in the ball game. Remember, it's 1-0, 7-6-2. Now, Marcell Ozuna, typically you see him over there in the corner right there. Ideally, you'd love to cut it off here. And we saw him do it on the last homestand, but he wasn't able to, so he has to go all the way to the wall. It's very important that you get this as clean and as quickly as you can. And you don't worry about rotation, you don't worry about grip, because what you've got to do is you've got to get it to this guy. And here's what you're seeing. There's going to be a straight line all the way to home. And when you see this live, let me clear that, you'll see how it is all in one line. Everybody has a place to be. Everybody has a spot to go. Miguel Rojas, his job is to get in perfect line, and he uses the foul line right there as his point of reference. Dietrich, get out of the way. Beautiful tag by JT Realmuto.
Ball and a strike. Florida Lottery in-game jackpot, assists in the National League in left field. You've got the 2 best here, Adam Duvall and Marcell Ozuna.
Giancarlo Stanton was picking him up on the last road trip. He had 3 outfield assists.
The road is an easier place for Stanton and Ozuna to pick up outfield assists because they oftentimes play in a ballpark where they get to play a little more shallow, where the distance is, say, Philadelphia or Cincinnati. Because of the fence dimensions, you got an outfielder that's playing closer to the plate, closer to second, closer to third, and closer to picking up those assists. Two balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, it's a couple balls in the air, one to center, one to left. Derek Dietrich's home run is the only run of the ball game. think it can be said of Robert Stevenson. At times, he's avoided the strike zone, but he's also avoided a lot of barrels.
Well, and that's the key. I was getting ready to mention it again. Here it is. Christian Yelich, 3-2 count. Giancarlo Stanton, who walked over at first base, as we mentioned. Now 6 walks in the ball game tonight, but after the walk, he has been able to record an out, a big out in every instance. Going all the way back to the first inning, T. Gordon getting thrown out after walking to start the game.
I guess the question is, how long can this go on with all the walks?
Well, it's a 1-0 ball game. You've got a bullpen that's struggling for the Cincinnati Reds. He's at 84 pitches here. It's the 5th inning. You'd love to, if you're Brian Price, obviously at least get him through the 5th inning, and he's proven that he can wiggle, and that's a key part of this. Marlins tonight 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, so that's about to change.
Drew Storen in Cincinnati's bullpen. You saw Mac Jenkins, the pitching coach, on his way out. Jenkins between Barnhart and Stevenson.
Let me correct that. Not runners in scoring position, runners on base, as we've been talking about all night long, following up those walks.
Geico brings you a major league moment. This date in history. Athletics rookie Brad Ziegler sets a major league record by not allowing a run in the first 27 innings to start his career. Ziegler was throwing a rehab start tonight, and the Marlins are hopeful for good news because they sure could use him in a depleted bullpen. Jess, you've got an update on Ziegler's appearance tonight?
Yes, you mentioned that rehab start in Jupiter with the Hammerheads. He threw a 9-pitch first inning. He was done after that. He finished the night with 0 hits, 0 runs, and 1 strikeout. If everything continues to go well, the Marlins hope to have him back in the bullpen in early August.
That would be great. Ozuna. Now Marcel has walked and hit a bullet to left that was caught by Adam Duvall. Stevenson right now has fallen behind 2-0 to Ozuna. Marcel lies it to center. Hamilton is back now forward and makes the catch. And I'll tell you what, Billy Hamilton, when he arrived in the big leagues, he was all about just speed. He is a really good center fielder. You watch him. He's not only fast, but he's very fundamentally sound.
Well, he really is. He's got a good arm as well. See everything about this. Does a nice job breaking back on the baseball, getting his momentum going in. Turns what would or could have been a productive out for Marcell Ozuna into a, well, it turns the tides just a little bit. Nobody able to move up.
Well, remember, it was Real Muto who had the big day against Stevenson, and here he is with runners first and second and 1 out. The Reds are trying to coax 5 innings at least out of their young starter, and he gets a strike here.
Hey, Ozuna's had a couple of real nice at bats tonight. My goodness, robbed of a base hit his first time, and
that hit just about everything. Did that land right in his bag?
I believe so.
That's amazing.
Well, you know what you save that for? The 10-run reel.
That's like the Stanton home run that went into the glove.
That's right. That's why I did 10-run reel, right?
Can we see that again? Boop. There it is.
Oh, he caught it. That is outstanding.
He's reaching in for a new ball, and he's got the old ball. He probably looked at it and said, well, this looks familiar.
Did he put it back in play?
No, I think he realized.
Switched it?
Yeah, he felt it. 0-2. Nice job there by Barnhart. Another look.
He knew.
I love he's just like a fan. He's showing everybody I got it. Alan Porter.
Nicely done, Mr. Porter.
Stan at second, Yelich at first. Realmuto stays alive.
Well, we've seen a few of those types of swings tonight from Stevenson. Speaks to his effectiveness. He's had a little more horizontal movement than his last start against the Marlins. He's used his slider much more effectively. See them reaching across the plate, kind of working down in the zone, not getting much behind it.
7 walks already in the ballgame. 2 strikeouts. But as we've seen, he's been able to make pitches at the end of innings. He's got an out here. Reds infield playing Realmuto to pull. And he does into the hole. Peraza looked at third and safe at second. Suarez froze. And Peraza felt he'd get the out at third, and when he looked up, he was looking straight at Suarez.
Now, that's the only play he had. This ball in the hole, deep hole. He wants to go to third base. Suarez, one step. Thought he might have been the one to make the play, and unfortunately for the Reds, it's going to cost him. Cost Stevenson the rest of this ball game.
So the youngster made a good pitch, but no results. And that's good hustle by the trail runner Yelich to beat the throw at second base. Stevenson exits. Florida lottery called to the bullpen. Here in the 5th, this call to the bullpen is brought to you by the family of Week for Life scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery. The top prize of $5,000 a week every week for the rest of your life. The longer you live, the more you keep winning. That's Winfinity. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Drew Storen, Marlins are used to seeing this guy in the 8th or the 9th inning. Eric Dietrich, his last at bat was against Robert Stevenson. He had a hot night last night, and he's continued that tonight.
Elevated fastball, good swing. Strong on that backside, good to see. No career grand slams, 240 average. Reds relievers, 8th in the National League bullpen ERA, lead the major leagues in both innings pitched and home runs allowed. 58.
Storen misses out with his first pitch, and it's 1-0 to Dietrich. Reds infield up the middle looking for 2, and even on the right side, Votto deep, he's looking for 2 and looking to cut off a ground ball from getting to the outfield. Stanton, Yelich, and Realmuto out on base. Storen's got a little bit of that hesitation move now where he comes to balance and just holds. But he's missed on his first 2, and there's no place to put Dietrich.
Well, over his last 3 appearances, has been able to retire all 9 batters he's faced. Little delay.
It's almost a Dan Herron-like.
Yeah, trying to throw the timing of the hitter off. Remember, he's a reliever. If you were to see that 100 times in a game, I don't think it would bother you nearly as much as it would in only 15 or 20 pitches from a middle reliever.
Barnhart cuts off that ball in the dirt. Now the count's 3-1. Dietrich looking for a good pitch. Storen looking to stay in the at-bat. And he tormented the Marlins when he was at the back end of the Nationals pen. Full count now, 3-2. It was either Clippard or Storen or Soriano. And even with those guys, it always seemed like the Nationals had drama in the offseason about who was going to be the closer, who was staying, who was going.
That hasn't stopped, even with the departure of the 3 you mentioned. Their Achilles heel this year.
He missed and he walked him. And Dietrich drives in Stanton.
Real nice at bat. Derek Dietrich, patient, waited for his pitch, waited for an opportunity, didn't get it, took the walk. Now 7 RBIs. Last 2 ball games for Derek Dietrich, both RBIs tonight's ball game.
And Storen now adding to the walk total. That's 8 walks from the Reds. 7 for Robert Stevenson, 1 here for Storen, and here's Moore, former teammate to Storen with the Nationals. Tyler 0 for 2 is flied out, struck out.
It's a big spot for Tyler Moore to break out. 0 for 10 on the road trip. 0 for 2 tonight. Given the bulk of the at-bats over at first base. He wants to get that bat going again.
Storen's been good lately. He had 3 appearances where he retired all 9 hitters, facing the minimum, and 5 strikeouts. So he's come in here, walked Dietrich. He's gone 1-1 to Moore. He also had one of those immaculate innings. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. It was all the way back in April.
I was thinking back to Tyler Moore's run of success when given the opportunity when Moore first went on the disabled list. Used right and right center field awful lot those first few games. Driving the ball the other way, picked up a bunch of RBIs.
Holds up, breaking balls in the dirt. And they count even now 2-2. Miami's been hot over the last week. Marlins went on the road, took 2 of 3 from Brian Price and the Reds, and then just stopped into Dallas. The Metroplex, if you will. The ballpark in Arlington, to be specific. And took 2 of 3 from the Rangers. 2-2. Moore pops it up, but it's back and out of play. It's a limited schedule in baseball today and tonight. Lots of day baseball. That walk-off slam for the Blue Jays over Oakland. The Nationals hitting 8 home runs, 5 in 1 inning to clobber Milwaukee 15-2. Cleveland beat the Angels 2-1. Indians are now 10 over. And then 5 games in the evening. 4 have started. Mets and Padres in San Diego are just beginning. Here it's 2-2. Bags loaded, run across, 2-0 Miami. Moore fouls it back and out of play. Cubs and White Sox. They're still playing, Cubs and White Sox. That's amazing.
2-2. First 2 at Wrigley, next 2 at US Cellular. Or I gotta correct that. They changed the name last year.
Just go New Comiskey.
Guaranteed.
I'll be happy.
I think it's called Guaranteed Rate Park.
New Comiskey.
Thank you. How dare I?
1-1 Cubs White Sox in the 4th. And the Rays are beating the Yankees 5-3, top 6 at Yankee Stadium. Here 2-0, 2-2 again, and Moore just won't go away. Seven pitches this at bat.
A lot of times these at bats develop out of some personal struggles. Tyler Moore kind of finding that stroke right now and that timing as he's been getting more and more playing time. Let's hope this one ends in a very positive outcome. Fighting off some tough pitches.
Yelich, Real, Muto, and Dietrich out on base. 2-2. It's out. It's a good take. It's clearly out.
Look at the work by Tyler Moore around the strike zone. Drew Storen's really living on the edges, and Tyler Moore's done a very nice job fighting off a lot of those tough pitches.
Now 3-2. Moore to right, another foul ball. And the longer this at bat goes and the more pitches he fights off, you would think little by little he's gaining an advantage.
Well, the one thing I think even the last foul ball is indicative of what I was talking about at the beginning of the at bat, where he hasn't really been able to hit the ball to the right side with a tremendous amount of authority the last few ball games. That is his strength, and he's on it. He can really drive the ball the other way, and Storen is for the most part staying away.
That's to right, and it's deep. Schebler goes back at the track, reaches up, makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Yelich. Real Muto arrives at third. That's great work at the plate by Tyler Moore.
Yeah, that's a big league AB right there. That's called doing your job, even though you got some struggles going on. Working and working and working until you handle it. Job done. Get that run across. Fly ball to the right side. 10-pitch AB. Good for Tyler Moore.
Miguel Rojas now with runners at the corners. Chris O'Grady is on deck. O'Grady's thrown 77 pitches. Storen first out of the pen for Cincinnati. Marlins did not take batting practice tonight, and it wasn't because they scored 22 runs last night on 22 hits. It was because most everybody in that traveling party did not get to sleep until 7 o'clock this morning.
We were talking about this on the way home early this morning. They took batting practice yesterday, which I thought was highly commendable. Last day of the trip. Apparently they took batting practice in the 9th inning as well.
I'm telling you, there are batting practice pitchers that get fired with the velocity of Brett Nicholas last night.
telling me batting practice pitchers get fired?
Yes, if you don't bring it at least in the upper 60s, mid 70s, low 70s maybe, or consistent strikes. I mean, you got to be able to throw strike after strike with a little bit of velocity. 45 miles an hour, I don't think. Even Phil Regan, who turned 90,
to his credit,
up in New York.
Well, he wasn't. I mean, after the first couple of hard hit balls, he wasn't trying to add velocity. He figured, you know what, I might as well try to take more off.
We saw Phil Regan throw batting practice, the guy known as the Vulture in his Dodger days, up at Citi Field for the Mets this year. Wanted to do it on his 90th birthday, and he looked good.
He did.
And I'll bet a guy like Phil Regan is watching a game every now and then and sees a guy come in and pitch and says, I could
throw harder than that guy.
I could still rush it up there better than that. Two. The comebacker, Storen has it, and he'll underhand to get the out. But Miami adds 2. 42 pitches total the Marlins saw in that inning. South Beach is just warming up, it looks like. Our South Beach camp. Saturday, Reds and Marlins are the back end of the FS1 Major League Baseball doubleheader. Gigantes and Doyers, Reds and Marlins. Tom Verducci will be calling the game along with Justin Kutcher on Saturday night and tomorrow night. Mr. Verducci of Sports Illustrated and MLB Network fame will join us. Meanwhile, after watching the Reds pitching staff combined so far for 8 walks, Chris O'Grady, the George Mason product, has a line of 5 innings and 5 hits, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts.
77 pitches. He's been efficient. He's had a fantastic changeup tonight. So he's been able to keep the walks down. Most of these Reds hitters off balance. He's pitched to a couple of key spots in the lineup.
Strike starts the at-bat of Scooter Gennett. Scott Schebler, Jose Peraza. Also coming up. You noticed it early and noted more breaking balls than in his start in Cincinnati.
Well, it's been working for him tonight. Again, he was searching in Cincinnati as he was struggling with his command. As any pitcher does when his command starts to leave, starts to rely on the one pitch he can throw the most for strikes. And in his last start, it was basically his cutter and his four-seam fastball. Nothing else was essentially predictable. Tonight, he's been able to throw his fastball for strikes. His cutter's been there. Even his changeup has gotten a lot of swing and misses. Some tough contact. He's been able to use that breaking ball a few more times.
Well, Scooter Gennett goes down. 4 strikeouts now for O'Grady. Get the ballpark pass and receive mobile access to every remaining regular season home game for only $29.99 a month. Join us for great matchups, giveaways, fireworks, and more during the final months of the season. Less than $3 a game. It's all available on your smartphone with the MLB.com ballpark app. Visit marlins.com/ballpark pass today. Some restrictions apply. What's the best trade rumor that you heard today? On a day where we told you the Mets and the Rays had a trade that sent Lucas Duda to St. Pete's. Gordon goes to get it. Little flip there. Schebler is out. And O'Grady looking strong here in the 6th. And the way the bullpen is set up right now for the Marlins, if he gets a quick out here, Don Mattingly, I think, there's a good chance to send him back out for the 7th.
If he can split up Peraza and Barnhart, get this out here, put himself in a good spot. A pinch hitter to deal with in the 7th. Watch the lineup roll back over, but if he can get this out, I think he's got a good shot.
Peraza's had the best at bats against him tonight. It's a foul ball. Got a couple of line drive hits. A lot is expected of this guy. Blake Wood. Ball in a strike. Where's Sonny Gray going to go? Where's Yu Darvish going to go? Dietrich spinning, firing, gets him. That is a 10-pitch inning for Chris O'Grady, and maybe he's not done yet. 3-0 Miami.
Is going to add his own bobblehead to the collection. Here's a preview of the giveaway for Saturday. I had a chance to talk to a couple of D's teammates earlier, get their thoughts on his bobblehead. Nick Wickren said it's perfect that he's smiling sliding into second because D is always smiling. JT Riddle gave it a 9.5 out of 10, but AJ Ramos, however, he said that looks more like D's dad and the muscles are a little bit too big. I don't know, guys. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
Well, we don't have our hands on one yet, but we can see it. That is apparently the only one in the building. On Saturday, I'm assuming, will be here. That's the night. Now, Chris O'Grady, when he came out of the ball game and finished that inning, was in the dugout. There were no handshakes or pats on the back. Rojas comes up and say, "Hey, are you done?" "No, I'm not done." And Rojas said, "Well, you're up." So he grabbed that elbow guard and hustled over and grabbed the bat and the helmet, and he's in the box now.
Let's go. Just a pleasant reminder.
Alcantara ends up at shortstop, and the Reds make a pitching change, and they'll put Blake Wood in the 7th spot in the order, with Alcantara hitting 9th. That actually wasn't a bad swing, was it? A little late.
D. Gordon steps into the box for his 4th at bat of the ball game.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
Man's got to get in there and swing the bat. That's what he's got to do.
Gordon lined out his last time up. He singled, swiped a bag, walked, was caught stealing.
He did have a sacrifice bunt his last time up. I will give him credit. That was outstanding.
And you know what? It was first pitch. Didn't mess around. Didn't foul pitches
Got the job done.
Put it in a perfect spot. That's into center field. That's a base hit. So D. Gordon aboard for the 3rd time tonight. Renewal season is here for the Fish family season ticket holders. A lot of things planned for the 25th anniversary next year. Marlins.com/renewals is the direction to head digitally. Looks like that guy's ready for wrestling night tomorrow night.
Nature Boy Ric Flair. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I did?
Yes. Still can't believe Craig's not going to be here. Jessica will get the much envied interviews with the wrestlers and with Flair himself. Stan's walked twice and flied to center. Gordon back with a dive. Reds have been cautious with the way they've faced him. Now Stevenson had trouble throwing strikes most of the night, but for Stanton you could tell he was being careful. Saw where the Braves sent Dansby Swanson down to the minor leagues. Marlins will see the Braves after this homestand, the next road trip.
Swanson had fallen into another slump offensively and starting to see his playing time taken away. I'll tell you, Rich, I don't know, statistically with Stanton right now, I mean, he's been on a really nice run since moving to the 2 spot in the lineup. A lot of different ways of looking at it. I will say this, to my eyes, over the last 2 weeks, he looks as comfortable now in the box as he's looked all season long. Even on his takes, you can almost see his mind working.
Gordon runs. It's a pitch out. Barnhart's throw is high, but he's out. So D. Gordon out for the second time, and he's in a lot of pain. He's got an issue with that protective cup.
See the pitch out, the quick release. Barnhart throw a little high. Gordon head first slide. That gets him right on the backside as he's sliding in, and in more trouble with that cup.
So we touted Barnhart's caught stealing percentage coming in at 43%, and that's gone up. Gordon himself just 1 for 3 tonight. Fastball, and he gets it by Stanton. And Miami is done in the 6th. That's a good look. The family is here tonight. That's the guy you want to keep happy in our Fox Sports Florida sales department, that's for sure. All right, here's the arsenal for Chris O'Grady. How does this differ from his outing against the Reds in Cincinnati?
Well, the fastball percentage was a little bit more towards the four-seam fastball because, again, he was struggling with his command. You see the balance. That's actually what he's looking for tonight. Let's use that the cutter just a little bit more than traditionally his four-seam fastball, but tonight the four-seamer there, it's because his changeup has been so effective. More curveballs as well, so everything working. Good percentages tonight. Good spot. Here with his pitch count working in the 7th.
4 strikeouts, a couple walks. 8-9-1. Although Alcantara is now in that 9 spot off the double switch, and Barnhart goes after a fastball, fouls it out of play. If you haven't seen the Marlins over the last 3 weeks, you don't know O'Grady's story. He's a George Mason product. New City, New York, hometown. To right, Stanton is there, makes the catch. He's got an older brother that also pitched at George Mason. And his older brother is best friends with that man, Justin Bohr. And Chris and Justin were teammates at George Mason for 1 year. Chris, I believe, made 1 start his freshman year, and Justin Bohr was the big slugging first baseman, a senior on that George Mason team. And while the path to the big leagues for many players is varied and hard, for this guy, he had to face being released this year by the team that had drafted him. He'd been in the system all along, and that's the Angels. And he felt Well, look, he told us he was surprised and disappointed when he got the assignment that he was assigned to Double-A with the Angels, because he had a really nice year last year with good numbers, and then he got released in camp. Spent some time with the Reds. He and Brian Price know each other a little bit from that time. Junichi Tazawa in Miami's pen. A swing and a miss. Down goes Alcantara.
Another outstanding changeup from O'Grady.
And the other unique thing about him, Todd, is that in the Angel system, he was a reliever, and almost the entire time he would make a few starts every now and then, but he was mainly a reliever, and he had a good ERA in the minors, a 3.24 career ERA in the minor leagues.
Changeup has really helped him this year. That counterbalance to the cut fastball, the four-seamer, even the big curveball that he throws, particularly against right-handed hitters. And you're seeing the confidence rise. He's thrown a few changeups to lefties tonight, Rich. Don't see that too often.
What saved him this year was the pitching coach in New Orleans, Scott Butner, who was his pitching coach in Double-A with the Angels last year. He put in a call to the Marlins organization and said, hey, there's this guy, I think he can help us at Double-A. Popped him up, and Chris O'Grady has thrown 7 shutout innings at the Cincinnati Reds. 9 pitches. Looks up at that scoreboard, and it says 3-0 Miami. The Magic City tonight. 3-0 Miami on top, 7th inning stretch. And a big night for Chris O'Grady. Some hashtagging, shall we? Fox Sports Florida, Southwest Airlines giving you a chance to win an all-inclusive stay in the Cayman Islands on Labor Day weekend. All you got to do is do some hashtagging here. Southwest Summer Days Sweeps. Hashtag that. Hashtag sponsored. And then send it at Fox Sports FL. And it's your chance to win, see the Turtles, hang out on the beach, and have a great Labor Day getaway. Coming off after that 7th inning, handshakes. He and JT Realmuto, that's a huge boost for Miami to get 7 innings out of O'Grady here tonight. The bullpen is banged up, injured. Used a lot, certainly in the environments in Cincinnati and in Texas on the road trip.
Yeah, that's a big league professional start right there, Rich. You add up all the circumstances. Impressive win for the Marlins last night, no doubt. Offense rolling, a lot of good things to talk about. Home runs, all those great things. But you can't lose sight of the arrival time of the team this morning. Everybody getting in late. O'Grady flew ahead of the team yesterday, so he's in a position where he's fresh and he's ready to go tonight, but had to go pitch for pitch as the offense was a little slow to get after Stevenson, and made great pitches tonight. That's where you lean on your pitcher. He's the most rested of anybody on the team, and you want him to go out there and give it, obviously give you some length, give you an opportunity to win a baseball game. Not only did he do that, I mean, 7 shutout innings is more than anybody was expecting.
Yelich swings and misses. Well, look, this year it's his longest outing, even in his minor league run of this year. And I told you that when his pitching coach from the Angels and now the AAA pitching coach in New Orleans, Scott Budner, said, hey, look, I think we got a guy who can help us in AA. Actually, a spot opened up in AAA in the bullpen. Yelich's liner is foul. And so before the team broke camp, he found himself in New Orleans bullpen, and then 3 relief appearances in, all of a sudden he found himself in the rotation.
Hold of that opportunity. It's led him all the way to the big league roster. Some big starts for this Marlins starting rotation that's hit some injuries, had some guys go down, from Edinson Volquez on down. He's provided a big boost tonight. I think in the postgame you'll probably hear him rave about, that's the best my changeup's ever been. That was an outstanding performance tonight, and he had a dandy of a changeup.
Miami trying to add some insurance here. A 3-0 lead, 5 hits apiece. Yelich against Blake Wood. And his liner finds left field. It scoots in the gap, cut off by Duvall. Good swing by Yelich. He's back at first base with a leadoff single.
Very familiar with this swing and this approach throughout the entire road trip last month as well. Staying inside, pulling the hands through, short, quick, compact. Exit velocity to left field, outstanding. Good to see in my record safe, partner.
Oh, that's right. The all-time record for most consecutive extra base hits
Who knew?
in Marlins history. Todd Hollandsworth, 11.
Safe for another day.
And Yelich had 7. And that is any hit that's an extra base hit.
Right.
Not necessarily getting those hits in a row, but Yelich had the 5 doubles and the 2 homers in the Texas series in the last 2 games. And a record that Todd didn't even know he had until our research department informed him today. He immediately called his agent, Todd did, to see if he could retroactively in arbitration use those numbers.
Was told no.
There apparently is a sunset on.
Yeah, there's a statute of limitations, and
amount of time for the arbitration process.
Way past the expiration date.
End of the bat. Ozuna rolls it up the line.
Well, nice night for Ozuna. Got to walk the show for it, but I'll tell you, first at bat of the ball game is third at bat of the ball game. A couple of lasers off the bat. Great play by Duvall in left. First inning robbed him of probably a double. And a rocket to Billy Hamilton in center field, his third at bat.
I'm not sure the Marlins want to run anymore on Barnhart. He's thrown Gordon out twice. It's usually a pretty good deterrent when
it is.
A guy like Gordon gets thrown out twice.
Right, and that's the point, is that the thought process for like everybody else. Okay, so D's the fastest guy on the team. He's getting thrown out twice. Does anybody else dare try to run? First thing I think of is if D can't do it, I can't do it.
Well,
hang in there, D. It's okay.
He's had it's been a rough night. Whenever he hits the dirt. it's not been a pleasant experience. He's had trouble with that the protective cup.
Well, for any of us.
Barnhart snap throw. Yelich is back.
I've had multiple people looking at me for analysis of what's going on with D, and I'm having a hard time breaking it down for people. It's tricky.
Ozuna strikes out. Here comes Real Muto. Chris Archer continues to keep the Yankees at bay. The Rays have a 5-3 lead. Aaron Judge, last we checked, was 0 for 3. (5-3) Rays, bottom 7. Mets and Padres are underway, 1-1. That's headed to the second. And the Cubs have a 5-2 lead over the White Sox. Milwaukee lost. Well, they didn't lose. They were bludgeoned by the Nationals, 15-2. 8 homers by the Nationals, 5 in 1 inning, 4 in a row. And of course, the Cubs have started a run that essentially has swallowed up Milwaukee's lead. A chance to extend their lead for the Cubs. They have a 5-2 lead over the White Sox, top 6. There goes Yelich, ball in the dirt, and he stole that one off of Wood. Got a good jump, ball in the dirt, and if you're going to run, that's the time to do it.
Lined everything up perfectly. Good little, call it a moving lead over there. Wood didn't stop it. Mistake number 1, Yelich gets a great jump. Mistake number 2, ball in the dirt. Barnhart not able to come up with it. Mistake number 3. So stolen base right there for Christian Yelich. Everything in line for the speedy Christian Yelich.
Scoring position for Real Muto and a 2-0 coming. Inside corner for a strike. Real Muto is 1 for 2 tonight, continuing a scorching hot July. We showed you the OPS numbers, on base plus slugging, of all catchers in Major League Baseball, and only Buster Posey is above him. Of course, he had a 2-homer night in Arlington the other night. Strike that. It was in Cincinnati, and then a home run last night. See, last night the offense was so immense that at this point I'm hallucinating when I read through the box score. Real Muto had an RBI double and a home run last night.
Yeah. You had to do more than 2 for 4 with a homer to qualify for star status last night.
Yep. I mean, Ozuna had 2 doubles.
Right.
And
say double and a triple the same inning.
Knocked home 5 last night. JT fouls it back. Maybe it should have been clear to us that when D. Gordon hits the first pitch of the game out, that all kinds of stuff's going to happen, and it did.
I agree. It certainly sets the stage. I mean, I'd been mentioning it throughout the trip. Now, traditionally, when D was getting on in the Cincinnati series, in Cincinnati, getting on and stealing bases, and the Marlins were scoring first. The offense wasn't awesome in Cincinnati, but certainly they were playing in front and they had leads. It made it a little bit easier. Of course, when he steps into the box and hits a home run, it's definitely going to get everybody fired up.
Three-two coming. Yelich at second. And he got him. Wood, 96. The 2 strikeouts of 2 pretty good hitters, Ozuna and Real Muto.
We've seen fastball to the outside corner.
Derek Dietrich's driven in 2 with a home run and a bases loaded walk.
Pretty amazing to see the confidence even in his body language the last 2 ball games compared to what it was a few days prior. We'll see the tension is gone from his swing. He was searching and trying to find his way out of that slump. That base hit yesterday against Darvish really got him going.
Jam shot, little looper out into left field, and it falls for a hit. Yelich scores. Stay hot.
Derek Dietrich doesn't get this base hit without free and easy hands. It's jammed. Beat by the fastball, but gets enough of it. Drop it in front of left fielder Duvall. 2 outs. Yelich running all the way.
Alcantara sort of had the alligator arms because he knew that the left fielder was coming in, and I don't know if he didn't hear him or he was waiting to hear from him, but he really didn't extend. And Dietrich gets himself the RBI single.
3 RBIs tonight.
How about that? He had 5 last night,
8
which was
total,
a career high. So he's only driven in 8 runs, the slacker, in the last 2 games.
It's good to see him responding quickly. I always like to see guys come out of a slump or a little funk that they get themselves into quickly and start to get that result. The confidence just starts to go right up, and you see it in his smile and you see it in his presence on the field.
And boy, don't the Marlins need it too.
Yes.
With the news that Prado's knee is not responding, that Bohr may be out for a month or more.
The other RBI belongs to Tyler Moore. Real nice at bat. This time up. 10-pitch at bat. Here's a sacrifice fly to right field. Fouled off a lot of tough pitches. He worked his way through that at bat.
That was against Drew Storen. Remember, this was a Robert Stevenson start. Blake Wood finishes his 2nd inning, but Miami adds a run, and Derek Dietrich having a nice night. Junichi Tazawa is on the clock. Summary, if you just hopped into this one, Chris O'Grady was really grooving early. Breaking balls, changeups, spotting that fastball, used the cutter. He kept the Reds off balance for 7 shutout innings. In the 4th, Miami. It's a blast from Derek Dietrich. Big night last night for Dietrich. Some terrific at bats. Dietrich another RBI with the bags loaded against Drew Storen. 10 pitches in. Tyler Moore pops a sacrifice fly into the corner. And the Marlins just added that last run in the 7th. Derek Dietrich a flare. Yelich scores again. So 7 shutout innings from Chris O'Grady. Dietrich having a big night. And now 6 outs to get. Remember, the Marlins traded David Phelps. But if you were away for the road trip, Kyle Bearclaw is on the disabled list. So the 2 guys that have held down that 7th and 8th inning are gone. Bearclaw obviously for the time being. Hopefully it's not that long. Junichi Tazawa, who really has had a terrific month of July, takes the ball and he gives up a single to center from Eugenio Suarez to start the 8th inning. You've got Votto, Duvall, and Jeanette. This is a powerful Cincinnati team. A lot of home runs in this lineup, so things can change in a hurry. Votto hit by a pitch in the 5th, walked in the 3rd, lined out back in the 1st. That velocity at 93 and that fastball command was something Tazawa did not have in the early months of the season.
Well, Rich, let's be fair. I don't think he trusted it. It's really what it comes down to is he was working the ball around the strike zone, introducing himself to the National League. He just really didn't trust his fastball command. It wasn't there at times, but in the spots where he needed to throw it, he couldn't, or he wouldn't. Now you see him at the front end of an at-bat, beginning of an at-bat, willing to go to that 92, 93 mile an hour fastball, working around the zone, also throw the slow breaking ball to get ahead. All in all, the game plan hasn't changed. He's still trying to set up the splitting, but he trusts the path now.
Bouncer, and that finds a hole. It finds right field. Suarez is going to get to 3rd, and the Reds have something going here in the 8th inning with nobody out.
Well, I had the impression that Votto went up there looking for the split finger fastball. Here's why. Took a couple of really good fastballs to hit 92, 93 miles an hour. Tazawa got ahead. Well, there's the splitty we talked about. That's the path. He's trying to get to it, wants to get the ground ball, but Votto finds a hole to the right side.
Well, now you got the power bats, Adam Duvall, Scooter Gennett, Scott Schebler. Combined, they've hit 61 home runs. Now, that noise you just heard, not a fire alarm, not a truck backing up. That's the bullpen phone. And so they want to know how close is AJ Ramos.
It's right there with the hurry up whistle.
Well, as well, I think they wanted Harley Garcia to get up. Garcia's been used a lot lately. Inning in 2/3 last night. Tazawa had some good run on that. It's 1-2. Votto at first, Suarez at third. You know, I asked you earlier when you were talking about O'Grady and Stevenson's changeups and the split grip. Just the grunt and the miles per hour of Tazawa gives you the contrast of the split finger fastball and a split finger change
as well. Definitely some effort behind it. That was a very effective pitch from Tazawa there at 93 miles an hour. And as we talk about that path, really wants to get to the splitty. It'll get him a ground ball. It'll get him that soft contact or the swing and the miss down in the zone. But he can't just live down there like Joey Votto did. Even with 2 strikes, you go up there looking for it. Something you can handle. He's got to be able to command that fastball at the top of the zone as well. A good pitch there. Ball late on the 93, the top of the zone.
2-2. In the air and on the infield. Rojas is there, makes the catch. That's a big out. Now you got Jeanette, and a ground ball could get you out of the inning. Scooter Jeanette is 0 for 3. Jeanette, Sarasota, and Cincinnati. That's where he calls home. He was born in Cincinnati, was raised there until he was 9, moved to Sarasota. He was actually offered a scholarship to go to Florida State. Got to the big leagues with the Brewers and became the first Cincinnati Red to homer 4 times in one game, only the 17th player in Major League history. Into right, knocks in a run. Reds are on the board. 3 hits now in the inning, and that is going to bring Scott Schebler, and he represents not only the Reds but also the tying run.
The eyes of Jeanette stay down and through the swing. Just like Joey Votto, rip a ground ball through the right side. Runner at first. As Tyler Moore holding him on, so it creates quite a hole over on the right side. Both left-handed hitters taking full advantage. Tazawa's got pretty good numbers against lefties. If you're curious, 188 coming into tonight's performance.
This might be where Garcia, although you see Don Mattingly conferring with his pitching coach. Ramos is ready by now. And Juan Nieves is calling the pen to find out who's hot. Schebler takes out. Garcia's been throwing for about 3 to 4 minutes, but he has stopped here. I think that's what the call was about.
Devin Mesoraco has popped out on deck for the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, Tazawa against lefties, he's got that split, and so you're still hoping for a ground ball, but you've got to be in a position to throw it, and he's down 2-0 to Schebler.
Very good numbers versus the lefties coming in. Unfortunately for Tazawa and the Marlins, a couple of those ground balls found holes to the right side.
That pop-up should be playable. Dietrich, foul territory, has it. So a guy with that split that gets ground balls has 2 outs on pop-ups. And here comes Mesoraco, one of the Reds' catchers.
The 2 pop-ups are a result of hitters sitting on the split finger fastball and getting beat by the fastball.
And Don Mattingly's going to make the move to Ramos here. He wants the right-hander. Ramos is ready. Mattingly asking for 4 outs from his closer. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Here comes AJ in the 8th. Threatening in the 8th, 2 outs. No doubt excited to see AJ Ramos in here going for a 4-out save. Marlins will double switch. Mike Aviles gets into the game at third base. And so Ramos and the pitcher spot now takes over in Dietrich's position, which is 6th in the order. And Aviles is due up 2nd in the 9 spot. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Joe West making an appearance. Devin Mesoraco. Run across. Votto at 2nd. Jeanette at 1st. And AJ's breaking ball misses. He's 2-0. 2 4-out saves this season. 5 in his career. Mesoraco steps out. Marlins used Nick Wickren last night for 2/3. I think Drew Steckenrider is the guy who's going to start seeing some high leverage spots.
A few opportunities down there for leverage.
And Ramos. This, of course, a little different for a lot of closers who come in with a pristine inning and nobody on base and nobody out. Here, you don't necessarily have the same leeway to figure out what's working. You need to come out, start throwing strikes right away. 92 with that fastball.
The faith in the curveball. 3-1. Pitch hitter Mesoraco. No chance of pulling the string, able to throw that pitch for a strike.
That's the opposite of our super slow-mo cam. It's pretty cool though. 3-2. Runners on the move, foul back.
Realize how effective AJ is, how even the way he attacks hitters is so different than what you typically see from your 8th and 9th inning specialists. Ability to drop in the curveball just about any time. I mean, he trusts his secondary stuff more than really any 8th or 9th inning guy around the game. Can you compare him to anybody that you see this day and age?
Liner, left field. Votto was off and running. Ozuna has it. He'll hold there. Votto will. And the Reds, despite having the runners on the move, line drive to left, don't get the run home.
Marcell Ozuna's already got an outfield assist tonight. Reds have had a runner cut down at home. They're going to test that arm.
Billy Hatcher had
enough is enough.
Stop sign up.
Certainly understood it the first time when they were trying to get Votto across home, but this is an offense that's been struggling. So we do not want to run into out here in the 8th in this inning. Reds have not had very many scoring opportunities here in the second half.
So Mesoraco loads them up. And here is Tucker Barnhart, who's 1 for 3. It's almost like you're facing a starting pitcher in the 8th or the 9th inning.
But you haven't seen him in the game yet.
Right. So it's your first at bat, and he throws 4 different pitches.
And with anybody who has a great arsenal of secondary pitches, and it goes hand in hand with the closer, you got to love this. The more he throws, the better he gets.
Well, that's always been Ramos's MO, right? The more he works, the sharper he gets. He saved Monday's, or didn't save Monday's game. He finished it 4-0 Miami. Catches the outside corner. And that's a, to your point, Ramos has a tendency to see a lot of takes on strikes early in at bats. I don't know whether guys are guessing or just trying to figure out what he's throwing.
You go up there and sit on a breaking ball from an 8th or 9th inning guy? Yeah, I mean, that's just an unusual spot to be in.
Good changeup. It'll stay fair, and that's it for the inning. Nice job by Moore to get up there and grab it. Ramos finishes, keeps it at 1 run. It's 4-1 to the 9th. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep and by your South Florida Honda dealers. Fish back in town and on top of the Reds, trying to get game one of a long 4-game weekender. Takes this series all the way through Sunday. Wandy Peralta for the Reds. Third reliever out of Brian Price's bullpen. This was a start by young Robert Stevenson. He was touched for 3 runs. He walked 7 in the ballgame. Drew Storen 2/3 of an inning. And then Blake Wood would come on and give up a run in 2 innings. Miguel Rojas. Mike Aviles is next. And then D. Gordon. Rojas tries to bunt. And the count is 0-1. Reds have not had a great start to the second half after the All-Star break. They've dropped 11 of 13. And remember, the Marlins had a disastrous homestand after the All-Star break. But the road trip was a nice bounce back for Miami, winning 4 of 6 in Cincinnati and in Texas. 4 with Cincinnati. The Nationals are here for 3. August should just be named Washington National Month.
A lot of Nats coming up, isn't there?
A lot of Washington Nationals. Starts on the 31st of this month, and including that, with that 3-gamer trailing into August. When fouled off. The Marlins go to Washington, D.C. twice in the month of August. A 4-game set from the 7th through the 10th. That's a Monday through Thursday. And the 28th through the 30th as well. 10 games. And then the Nationals are back here in early September. Lots of National League East, and one of the reasons is a lot of times that you wait until you get to the later stages of August and you almost exclusively, thank you, not much sleep last night.
Oh, really?
Exclusively play in your division, but because the Marlins have that odd road trip late in September, Arizona and Colorado, that kind of pushes some of those Eastern opponents into August.
Well, and that's the way Major League Baseball wants it. They certainly want division battles going on later in the year. Beginning of the season, nobody would have predicted, I don't think. I mean, most people would say, okay, maybe the Nats are maybe your top team in the National League East, but the lead that they've been able to build for themselves is somewhat unpredictable.
Up the middle, bad hop there. Good hustle there. And Rojas beats the throw from Scooter Gennett.
Rojas on for the 3rd time tonight. Catches off the heel and up off the chest. That bounce down to the ground, and the high throw allows Rojas to beat it out to first base. Marlins business here in the 8th.
All right, bad hop, or did it just eat him up?
No, it ate him up. He's going to get an error for that, I'm assuming.
It is an error, E4. Rojas back to first. Aviles gets his first at bat of the night. Speaking of the schedule, the Marlins have seen everybody on their schedule already except one team. Colorado Rockies. Aviles bunts, pushes it right side. Peralta underhands and just gets him. That may have been Aviles on his own pushing it up the first base line. Here's D. Gordon.
That was a nice bunt by Aviles. If he did take it upon himself to get a runner into scoring position. Add-on run here in the 8th.
Stanton is on deck. Gordon takes out. You would think if Peralta was able to get Gordon and first base was open, the Reds would probably walk Stanton and get to Yelich, but Yelich has been hot. That roller has headed to short. Alcantara on to first in time. And we'll see how the Reds approach Stanton here, whether it's an intentional walk or be really, really careful. Stanton gets the walk. And Yelich is already in the box. We've talked about this. One of the things players have had to adjust to, that's the guy behind the guy that gets the intentional walk has to be up, ready, because we've seen hitters surprised by that. Mac Jenkins, the pitching coach, is on his way out. We've seen hitters still in the dugout surprised by that, but Yelich was up, and I think he was fully expecting and a step ahead of the strategy.
You have to prepare yourself and keep yourself ready, especially with the new intentional walk rule being applied this year. You're absolutely right. Your time, the awkwardness, it's not even like a traditional in that it almost seems faster. Most managers have already determined if Stan's coming up, like you said before the D. Gordon even grounded out, that this ball is already moving in that direction. So if you're on deck, you got to get out and get a couple swings off if you need to get those swings off to get ready quick, because that intentional walk comes about as fast as anything nowadays.
So Gordon out, Stanton walked. Here's Yelich. And he takes a strike. At the corners, Rojas at third, Stanton at first. Now it's chasing there, and it's 0-2. And he chased there as well. And so Peralta strikes out Yelich. And the Marlins need 3 more outs from A.J. Ramos, who got a big one in the 8th and now heads to the 9th. A.J. Ramos already has 1 out in the game. Needs 3 more. The Bang Bang play of the game brought to you by Bonefish Grill. Great fish, great cocktails, great times, great relay throw for the out at the plate.
A pivotal play in this ball game. Nice job, Ozuna. Rojas, great relay. 1-hop throw into JT Realmuto. Catch and tag. Secures it both hands. Well done. Dietrich out of the way.
It almost looked like Ozuna didn't have a good grip on the ball.
Well, and that's always a possibility. Again, when the longer the ball is on the ground out there, you forfeit the actual mechanics of going down and picking up a 4-seam fastball. Camps I was raised in, train you to pick up a 4-seamer if you can, but he knows that somebody's running. You just got to get it and throw it, almost like a rock.
Second at bat for Alcantara, who came in a double switch. And he takes a strike. 4-1 Miami. Reds are out hitting the Marlins. Got Billy Hamilton on deck. Then Suarez in the 2 spot. Then you get into Votto, Duvall, Jeanette, and some of the power bats. We showed you earlier and talked about it. 5 4-out saves in A.J. Ramos' career, 2 this year. Not much of a swing there, just trying to stay alive.
Well, that's the changeup from A.J. Very effective pitch. Trusted his fastball too much. Of course, it's only been a couple hitters that he's faced tonight. This is 3rd. One got hit for a base hit. The changeup, and is really using his secondary pitches exclusively right now.
One, 2. Got him. AJ has the first out. MLB.TV Premium every night, every device, every game, every out-of-market regular season game. Free subscription to At-Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. MLB.TV for details. Billy Hamilton takes up. Hamilton is 0 for 4. That's one recipe for success against the Reds, is keep this guy off base.
As we mentioned at the beginning of the ball game tonight, he had a couple of really nice games against the Marlins the first time. Now he's been slow on this trip, only a couple of hits. Yankees were able to keep him off base.
Two balls and a strike. Ken Rosenthal is reporting tonight that the Rangers informing clubs that they're ready to move Yu Darvish. How about that? Billy Hamilton bounces out. D. Gordon throws him out. Of course, last night the Marlins laid waste to the Rangers staff. Scored 10 runs against Darvish. Tonight, a 4-1 lead and an out away. And here is Suarez. Ramos 1-0.
This fastball of the night for Ramos was right there, 93 miles an hour on that low corner away to Suarez. Suarez has had the best at bats throughout this Marlins and Reds series, even going back to Cincinnati.
Count 2 balls and a strike now. Boy, a nice win if Ramos can finish it, not only for the Marlins, but for Chris O'Grady. Be his second major league win. A gorgeous breaking ball. Ends up on the corner, and it's 2-2. A.J. ready. 2-2 to Suarez. Seven innings from O'Grady. No runs. 5 hits. And importantly, just 2 walks. Remember his last start, 6 walks against the Reds in Cincinnati. 2-2 coming again. Busted bat and a little looper to left, so Ozuna won't get it. 2-out single. Reds still alive.
Third hit of the ball game for Suarez. 2 spot tonight's lineup. Bring up Joey Votto. Votto, 2-strike base hit his last time up, rolled it through the right side.
Well, the challenge here is to keep Adam Duvall from getting to the plate. Powerful outfielder on deck. He's got 21 homers. Votto himself 26. Those all came before the All-Star break. He's been in somewhat of a drought since then.
No homers, 1 RBI in the second half for Votto.
Runner will take second. Suarez arrives there, no stolen base. Votto's one of those guys that you not only do you have to make pitches, but those pitches have to be strikes. Doesn't chase a lot. Didn't chase that either. Three-one pitch. Lost him. And here comes Duvall. Ramos is 31 pitches in here.
Juan Nieves out to give AJ a blow. Catch his breath just a little bit. Had to work hard through the top of this Reds lineup. Tying run now at the plate.
Well, you saw Tim Wallach, Miami's bench coach, on the phone to the bullpen. It's one of the things about looking for a 4-out save. If you've got to throw significant pitches in the 8th, if the 9th inning gets drawn out, suddenly your pitch count is up there, and you almost have to have a backup plan. Hunter Cervenka, the lefty, is up. You've got Jeanette and then Schebler coming up. Ramos. Good breaking ball to start the at-bat.
Yeah, front door. Well done. Certainly set it up.
In the air. On the infield. 3 Marlins around it. It's Gordon, and he's got it. Ball game. Miami wins it. Chris O'Grady for 7. Junichi Tsuzawa for 2 outs. AJ gets the 4 outs. And the Marlins open up this 4-gamer with a 4-1 win over the Reds. Marlins Live with Jessica Blaylock, Jeff Conine coming up.